Zimbabwe-born Nicole Nechivungululu came to South Africa to study advertising management. She says when she started her business, the ground wasn't fertile enough in her home country to establish a creative brand agency.
Zim was once a great place, which still is, and it's something that needs to be built up. However, in terms of forward thinking and technology, the market at that time was not ready to receive it, or should I say the ground was not fertile for me to launch it in that sense. To say, okay, we're going to have social media, your company needs to have social media, your company needs to have some digital presence. Back in 2018 in Zim, at that moment, it's not something where they are focused at, but probably now in 2021, we are now forward focused. And it's something I'm still wanting to go home and invest back in. So it's not like I don't want to still go home, but I want to go home, and the ground is now fertile for that to happen.
Nechivungululu says her biggest challenge here in South Africa was to open a business bank account. She had to partner up with her husband since she was in the country on a spousal visa in order to have the account approved.
I could register the business, but opening a bank account, because I'm here on a spousal permit, so I'm still in the process, or rather waiting for my permanent residency. So now to open a bank account, it's like, okay, but you're on a spousal, you need to have a business permit, or you need to have permanent residency to open such an account.
Nechivungululu is grateful to the youth of 1976 in South Africa for paving the way for business owners like herself to be able to set up her enterprises here.
In Zim, we don't celebrate it, but we look up to the youth that had actually done stuff here in South Africa, where we're like, okay, if they could stand up, why can't we? If they could pave the way, why can't we? What's holding us back?
The three young founders of Kudoti, which means in the trash in isiZulu, are from France, India and South Africa, respectively. The business describes itself as the Uber for waste recycling. All of them worked in the recycling space independently before they teamed up to work together.
Kudoti is a platform for various waste industry players, mainly recyclers, to track their waste, to trade in their waste, as well as to be able to trace their waste.
Matthew says establishing a business here in South Africa was a natural choice because of the country's advanced infrastructure.
We've actually found that it's been much easier to innovate, to push industries in new directions, and to actually engage with people and to try and do things differently in South Africa than it would have been in Europe, for example. So from that perspective, it's very encouraging and I think very positive. And there's actually a lot of hope for the future because the opportunity is there, and it's a tangible opportunity.
I have a 20-year corporate career behind me, but I wouldn't have been an entrepreneur if I wasn't living in South Africa. In my life, I would go so far as to saying that if I wasn't living here, I wouldn't have found the courage or the inspiration or the environment even to be an entrepreneur.
Lubele says it is the sacrifice by the youth of June 16 that has enabled Kudoti's collaboration.
I am very much confident that such relationship would be a demonstration that even though we come from a history that is not so pretty, we, as Jacques mentioned, literally have the power right now in our hands to shape a future that is absolutely amazing, that a future that is more collaborative, a future that shows that we really aren't different. We're just one human being living on a single planet, and we should really do our best every single day.
According to the latest Recycling of Waste and Scrap in South Africa 2021 report, the country is one of the leaders in metal packaging recycling, with over 75% of all metal packaging recovered. Food tins, tin foil packaging and aluminium beverage cans are among the most common metal items sent for recycling. The majority of the recycled metals are sold locally, and business opportunities are ample in this industry.
More and more companies in various industries are starting to see the benefits of making use of recycled materials in all their practices. You're starting to see textile industry using plastic bottles to make fabrics for various uses of upholstery and clothing, all made of 100% plastic. You've got in the aluminium industry, you've got companies that are, aluminium doesn't lose its, chemical properties no matter how many times you melt it. So that it gets recycled and used over and over by the automotive industry and various other industries. And there's a huge ecosystem, starting from the gents who collect cans from the side of the street all the way up to us, who then will compress it all the way to the guys who you then export it. You can sell it locally or internationally. But the point is, there's a huge ecosystem for anyone to tap into.
Many of these young entrepreneurs say that business opportunities are available for the youth to explore. All that's needed is a little bit of curiosity, endless courage, and powerful collaborations to make it work. Liabo Setho, SABC News, Johannesburg.